I think many stakeholders will attribute this, and I'll just outline a little bit about why we think this is a great asset for South Africa. It's a great asset for the continent, but it's also a great asset for all the preventable diseases and where we need to address. The culmination of this, and we're going to be taking you through our current facilities, but we're also going to be giving you a sneak preview of what's coming down. I won't go through a lot of our history, but I think it's important to tell the story of all of the people that are gathered here, and that you're gathered here in different forms, either as lenders or as supporters in different ways. But I just want to package how all of this came together, and I won't go through a long history, but I'll just start from COVID up to now in terms of what's happened. So I think all of us know what happened with COVID. Biovac always wanted to expand its manufacturing capability in two ways. Firstly, we needed scale, but on another, we wanted to be end-to-end. Those were Biovac's vision from day one, and we needed to realize this vision of being a large-scale exporter, but also to be an end-to-end manufacturer. Since COVID and with all of the announcements, we've gone into action. What action have we gone? We've gone around talking to lenders and funders to say, please help us in expanding our capability. Please help us in realizing us being an end-to-end manufacturer, not only for ourselves, but because Africa needs end-to-end capability and it needs large scale. So we've been going around and trying to seek funding. It's been difficult, and we started around 2020, and many of the funders that are here know our story. It's been a long journey, but I'll just summarize it in terms of the catalytic events that have happened. A lot of what we needed to do was, when you go to lenders, they say, okay, what are you bringing on the table? They normally talk about equity. And we say, well, we don't have much. We have a lot of will, but so we've been going around in circles. But as we were doing that, and I'll just name some of our partners now, they never lost patience with us. They said, okay, Biovac, let's try and find a way to be able to unlock this funding. So two catalytic things happened. Number one, the Global Alliance, it's called Gavi Alliance. They came up with an instrument called the African Vaccine Manufacturers Accelerator, essentially saying that for some categories of vaccines, they will definitely prioritize African-made products. And once they did that, they essentially put together a business case. Now, that's what lenders want to see, a business case. So we were helped by Gavi coming up with this instrument to say, okay, which means that there's a market. That's what was one catalytic event that happened. At the same time, what we're doing is that we're also supported by grant funders, Wellcome Trust, Gates Foundation, Elmer Foundation, Open Philanthropies, who gave us more than $35 million of doing R&D, particularly in the area of oral cholera vaccine. The third catalytic event was when the European Commission, the EU, and through the European Investment Bank in particular, through what is called the Human Development Accelerator, or HDX, came up with this very favorable instrument that is catalytic, which is, that they have all of these fancy names about mezzanine, quasi-equity minister, but let's keep it simple. It's a very favorable instrument that essentially it takes a little bit more risk, but allows the other lenders to then come in. So firstly, I'd like to just acknowledge some of these catalytic instruments that have now resulted in Biovac sitting today and saying, number one, we have a cholera vaccine that's under development. It was developed on this site, it was developed in the other buildings, it was tested here, and it's undergoing clinical trials in South Africa. I think that's a first. Secondly, we are now going to be showing you where a lot of this funding is now going to be realized. So what does it mean in summary? In summary, South Africans will know that a Burmaka plan. So we've been making a plan. But also what it means is that we need the whole village to help us. And this is the village that is helping us. So you see that I've named the many partners that have come through. We're not doing it on our own, we're very humble. And so it's really been this package. So I'd like to acknowledge, firstly, the EU being here, and we're going to be hearing. I'd like to acknowledge the IFC, International Finance Corporation. I'd like to acknowledge IDC, who are also here. I'd like to also acknowledge also Propaco for, that we announced 2 weeks ago in terms of their funding from the French side. And there are many other lenders that are also going to come through. Now, again, colleagues, there's a lot to say about Biovac, but I'm just saying that you are our community that is here. We can only make it if we have a collective community. Last is the South African government that obviously has to be acknowledged. The vision of Biovac was always coming from the South African government. And without the South African government having the vision back in the late 90s, we would not all be here. So the South African government has played a critical part in making sure that firstly, this company exists, but also has been able to rally around all of these stakeholders around the table.